Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing an Exosister deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this one for you guys because this deck is an extremely fun deck to play that can easily control the graveyard with all of your awesome XZ monsters. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. So without further ado, let's go and get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Martha. Martha is the most powerful Exosister monster in the entire deck, with the ability, and if you control no monsters or only XZ monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you special summon an Exosister Elise from the deck, getting you 2 level 4 monsters out on your side of the field, so you can start going in for your XZ plays. But you cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate this effect except Exosister monsters, which is totally fine. Also, if a card moves out of either player's graveyard, you can actually special summon from your X deck one Exosister XZ monster using this face-up card you control as a material and treat it as an XZ summon, which is a crazy powerful ability. We then play 3 copies of Elise. Elise is definitely a 3-of in the build because if you control an Exosister monster, you can special summon this card from the hand. Then, if you control a copy of Exosister Stella, you actually gain 800 life points, which is an awesome ability to be able to do. We then play 2 copies of Stella. Stella is really good as a 2-of in the build because this card has the ability during your main phase, you can actually special summon an Exosister monster from your hand. Then, if you control a copy of Elise, you can actually gain 800 life points, which is an awesome effect. We then play a single copy of Sophia. Sophia is a great 1-of in the build because this card actually lets us draw a card, and all of our monsters between our copy of Elise, our copy of our Stella, and our copy of Sophia also share a common ability that if your opponent moves a card out of either player's graveyard, you can actually special summon from your X deck one Exosister XZ monster using this face-up card that you control as a material, and you treat it as an XZ summon, which is awesome to be able to do because all of your monsters besides Martha require your opponent to move cards out of the graveyard, where you can actually move cards out of the graveyard with your copy of Martha to be able to make an Exosister XZ monster using just one Exosister monster. We then play 3 copies of Sakitama. Sakitama is great in this deck as a 3-of because you can actually reveal this card in your hand to be able to normal summon a spirit monster to your side of the field, which is a great ability to be able to use without even using up your normal summon, and it's not considered a special summon since you're just normal summoning a spirit to your side of the field, which is awesome to play around the effect of Martha. We then played 2 copies of Aratama. Aratama is great as a 2-of in the build, but I feel like 2 copies is really all you need in the deck. This card has the ability, if this card is normal summoned or flip face up, you can actually add a spirit monster from your deck to your hand, except a copy of Aratama, but you're always adding your copy of Sakitama to your hand off this card's effect. We then played 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom's definitely a 3-of in the build to basically just stop the opponent from touching the deck. We then played 3 copies of Mulcharmy Fluros. Fluros is really good as a 3-of in the build and just such a powerful card to help you dig in the deck for the exact cards that you need. And it's one of the most powerful hand traps currently in the format. We then played 3 copies of Effect Veiler. Effect Veiler is really good as a 3-of in the build just to stop your opponent's monster effects, which is absolutely amazing. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is definitely a 1-of in the build just to stop your opponent from hand trapping you while you're going in for all of your plays. We then play a single copy of Crossout Designator. Crossout Designator is great in this build as a 1-of, just basically stop your opponent's hand traps like your copy of Called By. We then play a single copy of Carpe Diem. Carpe Diem is really good as a 1-of in the build, but I feel like 1 copy is really all you need in this deck. This card has the ability neither player can target Exosister monsters you control with effects of monsters that were special summoned from the graveyard. And you can only use each of the following effects this card once per turn, that if you XZ summon an Exosister Exosister monster, you can actually declare one card's name and negate the activated effects and effects on the field of cards with that original name until the end of this turn, which is a great ability to be able to use. And also, when an attack is declared involving your Exosister monster, you can try to spell or trap your opponent controls and destroy it, helping you pop your opponent's back row. We then play 2 copies of 7th Ascension. 7th Ascension is great as a 2-of in the build because this card actually helps us search out our copy of 7th Tachyon. 7th Tachyon is definitely a 3-of in the build because this card is basically a Rhoda for the deck, letting you reveal number 104 in your extra deck to be able to add your copies of your Exosister monsters from your deck to your hand, which is absolutely amazing. This card is able to reveal a number XZ monster in your extra deck that has a number between 101 and 107 in its name, and then you get to add a monster from your deck to your hand with the same type or attribute as that monster and with the same level as that monster's rank. Then you place a card from your hand on the top of the deck. Also, for the rest turn as this card resolves, you cannot special summon from the extra deck except XZ monsters, which is totally fine because that's usually all we're summoning anyways, but this card is basically a Rhoda for the deck, and 7th Ascension is Rhoda for the Rhoda. We then play 3 copies of Exosister Pax. Pax is basically Rhoda for this build as well, making it super consistent with your copy of your 7th Tachyon. This card has the ability during the main phase, you pay 8 in life points to add an Exosister card from your deck to your hand, except another copy of Pax. Then, if you added a monster by this effect, and you can special summon it if the other Exosister monster mentioned on it is on the field or in your graveyard, which is a pretty cool effect to be able to use. So, that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get in to the traps. So for the traps, we're going to start with a single copy of Vadis. Vadis is great as a 1-of in the build, but you only need a single copy of this card because it is searchable. It lets you pay enter life points and then choose an Exosister monster from the deck, then take one other Exosister monster from the deck that is mentioned on that monster and special summon both, but shuffle them into the deck during the end phase. Also, the rest turn after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except Exosister monsters. We then play 2 copies of Returnia. Returnia is great in this build, and I really like playing 2 copies of this card because it just helps out so much at controlling the board. And if all monsters you control are Exosister monsters, minimum 1, you pay 8 in your life points and target 1 card your opponent controls or in their graveyard and banish it. Then you can apply one of the following effects to immediately select results. You get to XZ summon an Exosister monster using monsters you control, or if you XZ summon this turn, you can banish a card your opponent controls non-targeting, which is a crazy powerful effect. We then play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Infinite Impermanence is definitely a 3-of in build, just to basically stop your opponent's monster effects and also lock down entire columns of spells and traps. So, that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start off with Exosister Magnifica. Magnifica is an amazing 2-of in the build, and you basically summon this card the same way you summon F-Zero to your side of the field, as this card requires 2 rank 4 Exosister XZ monsters, and must be XZ summoned with the above materials, and this card can make a second attack during each battle phase, and once per turn quick effect, you can detach a material in this card and then banish a card your opponent controls non-targeting. Also, when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can actually return an XZ monster you own attached to this card back to the extra deck. Then you can special summon that monster from the extra deck by using this card you control as a material, transferring all of its materials to this card, which is a really cool ability to basically just tag this card out for a different Exosister monster that's attached to this card. We then play 3 copies of Makalis. Makalis is definitely a 3-of in the build, such a powerful card to be able to summon. It cannot be destroyed by battle with a monster, special summon the graveyard, and you can only use each of the following effects card once per turn. And if you control this card that was XZ summoned this turn by using an Exosister monster as a material, quick effect, you can target 1 card your opponent controls or in the graveyard and banish it. You can also detach a material, or you can actually detach a material on this card and then add an Exosister spell or trap from your deck to your hand, which is why you see so many 1-of spells and traps in the deck for your Exosister cards. We then play 2 copies of Caspatel. Caspatella is one of the first cards you're going to summon out of your extra, because this card cannot be destroyed by battle the monster special from the graveyard, and then this card is Exy summon using an Exosister monster as a material. Neither player can special summon monsters from the graveyard for the rest of the turn. And also detach a material in this card and then add an Exosister monster from your deck to your hand, which is a great ability to grab the exact card you need, like a copy of Martha. We then play a single copy of a Sophiel. A Sophiel is great as a 1-of in the build, and a really awesome card. I'm constantly going back between 1 and 2 of this card, but this card is really good in the deck. It cannot be destroyed by the activated effects of monsters special summoned in the graveyard, and then this card is Exy summoned using an Exosister monster as a material. Neither player can activate the effects in the graveyard, which is a really cool ability just to basically just lock down the graveyard. And you also detach a material from this card and then target a monster your opponent controls and return it back to the hand, which is great to help you bounce cards off the field, but I really like that ability to basically just stop your opponent from using the graveyard and just locking it down. We then play a single copy of Gabreen. Gabreen helps you OTK your opponent, which is amazing about this card. And it's just such a powerful card to be able to play in this deck, as this card cannot be destroyed by the activated effects of monsters special summoned from the graveyard. And if you control this card that was Exy summoned this turn by using an Exosister monster as a material, quick effect, you can target an effect monster your opponent controls and negate its effects until the end of the turn. And so detach a material on this card for the rest of the turn. All Exy monsters you control gain 800 attack points, which is great to help you go in for game. We then play a single copy of Baguska. Baguska is great just to basically help you slow down the game, just in case you need to. We play a single copy of 104 Masquerade. This is what you use with your copy of 7th Tachyon to be able to reveal, is it is a light and a spellcaster rank 4, so you can easily search out anything that you need from your deck to your hand, all at this card's effect. And play a single copy of Zeus. Zeus is amazing in this build to basically just use this card to board wipe the field, plus we're playing an Exy deck. And play a single copy of Typhon. Typhon's great to be able to use as basically a skill drain for 3,000 higher attack point monsters and a bounce. We made a single copy of SP. SP's amazing. This deck basically uses a double interruption. And then we play a single copy of Artemis to guarantee that just in case our opponent does use a copy of D-Barrier, we can step into this and then step into our SP to give us a double interruption. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played an Exosister deck before, you should definitely give this deck a try, because it's an extremely powerful deck to be able to play, and it's just super fun to help you just basically go in for game using all of your awesome Exy monsters. So that's kind of it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can come for our notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next videos. Later, guys.